things have changed kind of recently. I haven't brewed in like 2 months, maybe 3. The stroller is now here. Got some extra bedding because a certain someone has taken over the guest room. Got a drying rack. Got some empty boxes. Gotta clean this up a little bit. But it feels good to be back. Today is a loquat sour. It's my annual sour I've been doing. That sort of became an annual sour kind of recently. I think my first one was 2019. Then I did 2020. It's 2021. It is the mid-April right now. And the tree's looking great. Let's go take a look at it. The birds have actually picked it over more than I thought they had. Looks like there's another tree here. There's some here. But the back tree, which I didn't realize was a loquat tree until kind of recently. I thought it was just some other tree, but it has a ton. Look at this. There should be plenty to work with there. Plenty. Especially because I do small batches anyway. Some sours I do are quick, meaning a handful of 2-row, hold at 115 degrees Fahrenheit, 113 degrees, somewhere in that range. Sours over about 2-3 days. Transfer it, call it a day. Same thing this time at the end of the video. When this is done, I will be comparing the last 3 years. I found 2020 loquat. I don't know if I have any 2019s left. I hope I do. It'd be kind of cool to do a little vertical tasting, if you will. Last couple times they've been a little bit on the light side for the flavor. I'm going to amp it up to about 1.5 pounds per gallon. I usually do about 1 pound per gallon for these kind of denser fruits. I'm going to amp it up just a little bit. I'm also probably going to have a helper. She's been very excited. She can't wait. So she'll come in a little later and maybe help me out for a minute. So the grand bill for this is 2-row, 7 pounds of it, 1 pound of quick oats from the grocery store, and like 1/4 pound or less of raw grain. I didn't measure it. I just threw it in the mill, which was probably not a good idea. The mill and the drill definitely was struggling there to break that up, but it wasn't a lot of it. So it's been an hour and about ready to pull this off. Full disclosure, I did totally forget to put salts in here. Totally forgot to put lactic acid to get my pH down to the 5.2 range. At least with sours, I found that doesn't matter, thankfully. And I just use carbon filtered water. My water here is very hard where I live. So I should have enough salts in here anyway. Probably too much. So let's pull this off and get this cooled down to 115 or so. All right, I'm gonna add a bunch of lactic acid into this now. On one of my last video I posted, I asked for help for calculators, and I got a bunch of suggestions, and I haven't read through it yet. I skimmed it, but I haven't like dug in. So I'm gonna add 4 to start, stir it in, and see what's at. But I need to get this to 4.5. So I know somebody though who might have the better answer to this. It's my assistant. She's coming in to clean up and help me at the last part of the brew day to get everything buttoned up, get the temperatures correct. And let's introduce her to the channel now. This is Daisy. She's gonna be my assistant for the rest of the brew day, at least for the next 5 minutes. Say hello, Daisy. She has a ton of brewing experience already. She's definitely ready to go. Look at this. She's so amped up. So Daisy, want to get this temperature down and get it to the right levels? Absolutely, she does. So this is the part of the brew day where it gets crazy. I got the wort here is at 130 degrees. The wort coming through the pump is at 90 degrees. I gotta split that difference, so I'm gonna have to unhook this. I gotta wait till this gets to 115 in here is what I'm gonna have to do. Unhook it from the cooling part and just go directly into here. This part's so hard to time. Coming out of here, it's 125. I gotta be like, turn the pump on, get to 115, turn it off. So this part's tricky. 2-row. That's what Daisy told me to do, so I'm doing it. So I cooled it down a hair more. I'm at like 120 probably as I'm filling. It's a little on the hot side. A little on the hot side, I think. But Daisy said it was okay, so I'm going for it. So I like to go to the very, very, very top. Should be good. Absolutely lovely. Keep it like that at this for 3 days or so, and keep going. Daisy told me, by the way, she really wants to help out with the fruiting portion of it. So hopefully we can get her help there, because she's so experienced. It's been 3 days. Let's see where we're at. I do see some fermentation. I see some bubbles bubbling up, but a couple times I've done this, it's actually like fermented and come out the top. So we're in pretty good shape here, considering that has not happened. Let's take a pH reading. So 4.1, it's not there. It needs to go a little lower. Usually this happens in 3 days, so it's kind of annoying that it didn't happen that quickly this time. It should even happen in 24 hours to do it this way. I might throw like half an ounce more grain in there and check it tomorrow. So hopefully that does it. Let's see what it looks like tomorrow. That's acceptable. Weird. I definitely have not had this hard of a time with using 2-row before. It took 6 days. That should not happen. I'm not going to taste it yet because I still want to, make sure there's alcohol fermented in this. Make sure all the bad stuff's out. Although I think a lot of it really can't survive much lower than 4.4. But with alcohol, it gets killed off. So I'm going to heat this up to like 140 degrees, 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Give it a little pasteurization on it. Cool it down, and continue on. As I said earlier, I got a great helper to help me with the brewing process. She's gonna help me pick some fruit. All right, Daisy, point to which one you want. That one? Perfect. Daisy picked some awesome fruit. It's looking good. She picked the most ripe ones. These things are like squishy and ready to go. I'm gonna sprinkle some verdant yeast into that and do about a half a pound or so. Let it ferment with the fruit in there. Then I'll transfer and pour like another pound of fruit on top of it. Let that sit for another week or two, and then bottle. And the only sanitation I'm doing is just spraying it with a little Star San. I haven't really been sanitizing my fruit, and I haven't had any issues. So I'm going to keep rolling with it until there's a problem. But so far, so good. Ideally, you don't want to freeze it for a couple weeks. That's what everyone says to do. I'm just going for it. So each one of these have seeds to them. I did one. You can kind of see how it's gutted out there. I'm leaving the skins on. And I'm just going to, take out the seeds and then just put the rest of it in there. So for what it's worth, in case anyone wants to try it, you might be okay even leaving the seeds in there, but something I'm doing. So Daisy's a little preoccupied right now, but she told me what fruit to pick. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to choose some here now. They're a little picked over. The birds have gotten to them and they are old. But I think I see a few good ones here. Like maybe these here, maybe. Daisy, is this the fruit we should use over here that you chose for us? Yeah, that's a big yes. Okay, so this ended up being 0.85 ounces. I did kind of what was left here. Again, about a pound per gallon. I'm on that track. Want to muddle this up a little bit. Get it all nice and mushy. Oh. I expect some re-fermentation on this. And so let this go for another week. Hopefully ready to bottle. I do intend to take a gravity reading this time. I don't do that very often, but I'm very curious to see how this turned out. It's been 2 weeks. Let's see how this looks, shall we? I'm not going to move it because I've had it on top of this fridge for a while now and I don't want to disturb the fruit, but I'll show you what it looks like. So I did a punch down on that about 4 days in after I transferred. Kind of like the idea of wine. You don't want to leave the top too exposed. You can get a little oxidized. Maybe mold can grow on it, which has happened to me before. And you can already tell it's getting a little brown on top. And I purged the top of CO2 after I punched down. But I only did it once because I got a little nervous about oxygen. But it's not a bad idea maybe with fruit if I can't sink it to kind of do that every like 3 or 4 days or so. Of course, purging with CO2 afterward every single time. So I'm going to transfer this, let it sit for about a day or two, bottle it, and that'll be it. So let's go to the tasting. Here I am. I don't know, probably about a month later. Let's get right to it. Still kind of murky. It has been cold for a while. It's been cold for probably good 2 weeks. I did put a lot of fruit in this. Get right to it. The smell on this is definitely fruity. Very fruity, almost like peach. But not fully peach, like nectarine maybe? Definitely fruit coming in the smell. And I would think there's fruit in this if I just smelled it blindly. I mean, it's a fruited sour, so that part's good. Let's give it a taste. Oh, that is really fruity. I'm not getting a lot of sour out of it. Acidity, I should say. Definitely more on the just straight fruit side. Tastes like a fruited beer. That fruit is a lot. 1.5 pounds is a little much per gallon for this type of fruit. I'd probably do like 1.25 pounds or just a pound. I did take a gravity reading of it. That says, looks like 1010, so it didn't really get that low. I thought it would get a little lower with the fruit added to it because of just, the sugars and yeast eating through it a bit more, bringing the gravity down a little bit. But the sugars of the fruit also could have bumped up the gravity because it's definitely a little more on the sweet side than it is sour side, I would say. But I will say, like at a beach or something, canned, this would be pretty delicious. Maybe top it off a little champagne or something so it had like a Bellini sort of flavor to it. Pretty good. I do have the other years of the loquat beer I've made. Let's try it really quickly just to see. I'm just curious to see what fruit I added, did what, and if it held up at all for future batches. If anyone's also curious to try something like this, how it holds up. So this is the 2020 batch, and I believe this is the 2019 batch. There's no date on this one. There is a date on this one. It says 2020 at the top. So I'm assuming this is 2019. A lot lighter. It's 2020, and then it's open 2019. So yeah, look at the difference. Look how clear that is and light. It's almost like a Budweiser in comparison. There's just so much fruit in this. It doesn't even know what to do with itself. All right, 2020. Let's give it a taste here. Oh, the fruit on that's actually held up pretty well. Very comparable in the smell. This is even more pungent, oddly, the 2021. This is more dank fruit in the smell, and this is a bit brighter in the smell, oddly, even though it's a year old. More acidic, for sure more acidic. I think this is like a little lower in the pH. Maybe been closer to like 3.3. This is better than the 2021 one. Okay, let's do the 2019 one. No fruit at all in that. If anything, a hair like plastic smell, but like in a really good way. Like a really nice plastic. Yeah, this fruit's definitely still punching through a bit more. But that's pretty good though. Nice acidity on that. This still tastes the best balance of fruit, balance of acidity. This is the worst one for sure. I think I added too much fruit, and that's probably the culprit. But I'm glad I found the limit for me. I think peaches and nectarines and those denser fruits, I've heard you can go up to 1.5 pounds on them. I don't know that I would. A pound per gallon is pretty much my standard, and I see why. But I'll try it next year. It'd be interesting to do another one where I do 1.5 pounds and 1 pound back to back and just kind of see. But I learned something here. For the fruit amount, that is. Okay, there you go. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Cleaning up right now, I wanted to say, Daisy, thank you for helping me. She was a big help for this. She couldn't be part of the tasting video because she's just taking a nice little nap right now, which I'm very jealous of, to be honest. But she'll be helping me out through other brew days. So She's the best helper I could possibly ask for.